Really? Not again. Battle. How
My
you
God
guys
is
doing?
leather boots on the
Marc and Mike
floor.
Welcome.
Mike's spinning vinyl from the record store. Well, love's a thunder.
Welcome to Mike and Mark's Rock Battle, where we debate, we rock it out, we battle it out for who's the best songs of the event here today. But today we have a guest, and Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest for us today?
Yes, very proud and pleased to introduce actually a high school classmate of mine, Kathleen Gavel, who
Welcome.
predominantly has served in the military. She, like essentially lifelong military, achieved the rank of colonel, was in intelligence, and continues to serve the Army in a civilian manner in the intelligence community. So welcome, Kathy.
Thank you very much.
All right, so why don't we get to some questions? First, why don't you just give us an overview of your military career and maybe what inspired you to join the military?
Okay. What inspired me to join the military was the desire to very much public service, but really the desire to go into the foreign service. I had spent several years living overseas in junior high, and I really wanted to be in the foreign service, but I didn't want to start at the bottom, and didn't really know how to do that. My sister had gotten an ROTC scholarship, so I kind of followed in that path to see what the Army was all about. And once I got in, I then just really wanted to see, really, it just kind of took off. I decided I wanted to see if I can handle it, because I had only initial 3-year commitment, which seemed a little soon to me as I got through training and kept going. And by then I just was hooked and wanted to see how much I could achieve. When I look at my overall career, I kind of look at it as history of the nation through the eyes of a soldier. As when I look at the time frames in which I served, it was early 80s or mid 80s, and of course that was the Cold War. But then we all came out of the peace dividend, and I saw how the Army transformed then. I actually served in Bosnia, and then I had 2 tours in Iraq. So going through those different milestones, you do learn a lot about the history of the nation through the eyes of a soldier.
And you ended up focusing on an intelligence. So how and why did you navigate to that? And actually, before you answer, Mark and I were negligent. Thank you so much for your service.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
It is safe to say if the country depended on the rock battle to preserve their freedom, we'd all be speaking Russian. Wouldn't we, Comrade Mark?
Exactly.
So thank you for preserving our freedoms. Thank you for your
thank you.
service. And so you focused in on intelligence. So how did you get there, and what can you tell us?
I was actually quite lucky. That was the only reason I joined the Army, was to be an intelligence officer, because in my mind, as a pretty early, late high school, early college, that was the only stepping stone that made sense to me to get into the State Department. As I got in, all things changed from there. But I really enjoyed the idea of trying to understand how to provide the right information to a commander. And I watched our intelligence formations really evolve over the years with technology and with all the requirements that we had around the world.
That's actually a great question. When obviously you and I entered the workforce at the same time, you entered military. We're the same age, graduated at the same time. I was in the workforce 10 years before I even got my first computer, and it was about 13 years before I got internet. And I worked for large companies, and so when I joined, it was all about secretarial tools and writing things down. And there were some Word type applications on an IBM mainframe, but we didn't have access. So you talked about technology. Looking back as maybe a young career intelligence officer to now, how has that changed? How has technology really changed the picture?
Hugely. I remember as a lieutenant, the first computer, and I do laugh because I actually remember the soldier who showed me how to use it and told me, ma'am, you can't break it. You can't break it. Because again, we didn't have any classes where we were learning. And all it really was a word processor. It was a Wang computer. I don't even know if you can find those anymore. But we literally had one in the entire battalion headquarters. So the headquarters staff and about 3 companies were trying to use one Wang computer for training schedules, for memos. Yeah, it is kind of funny to think back of that. And as it's carried forward, it's not just about the technology that helps us gather the information. It's a lot about how to process it. And AI and quantum are all things that are going to touch the soldiers of the future as we try to recognize what information matters. How do you put it together into a picture that matters for a decision maker? And how do you sort out fakes? How do you sort out noise? How do you prevent spoofing? So it's really been a significant leap, um, and it's been fun to watch, but I've also watched how our formations have changed to accommodate that and at the different levels that we're working. And that's really why I like the historical perspective.
How do you separate fact from opinion? So in my line, a lot of it's just kind of based on perception. So you said you're collecting facts, and you try to separate it from non-facts, but in the end, isn't it just a lens of opinion and perception?
Not specifically, because you can collect data in certain ways, and then whether it's a signal communications that you can collect or a picture. So you have to understand the source of the what is doing the collecting to understand how reliable that is or how that can be fooled by an adversary. Um, but you do try to put all of the pictures together and then make a judgment. It's absolutely not a science. It is very much an art, but it is also an art based on understanding the capabilities of the systems that we have and understanding the accesses that we have to the information and making judgment calls. And you see a lot of that in the news right now. But yes, I wouldn't say it's perception. Analysts do have to make very critical judgments, but it really is understanding the information from what is gathering it. And my team does a lot of that now. They work with their subject matter experts, whether it's acquisition or a maneuver or a fires officer. They work together to understand, what is this report telling me? How do I put this into context to make sense out of it?
Nice.
This is really intriguing because um, when we view information, it's usually through our own personal values and belief systems and experience, right? What we believe, where we've been. There's a risk element in terms of how conservative, how aggressive I'm going to be. So if you're gathering intelligence on an adversary, how do you sort of convert it to their culture, their value, their beliefs, so that it's more accurate?
Actually, we try to understand the adversary through that lens, and we do spend a lot of time. A lot of our professional analysts do go through the training on how to understand biases and understand where their biases may get in the way of a judgment or influence their judgment. Um, and then understanding the adversary. There is a lot of cultural dimension to understand what you read, especially if you're just listening or reading something that an adversary has said. Um, but yes, being very aware of the biases that we all hold is important, but also working as a team. It's very rare that someone is going to publish an intelligence assessment that doesn't have more than one set of perspectives. And that's really the thing I like the most about my current job is we are very much an eclectic mix of skills and perspectives to solve some very difficult problems.
Mark, do you have a couple of questions?
Yeah, I do. So looking back on your whole career, and I'm sure you've gone to a lot of countries. What is the most thing that you're proud of?
Honestly, when I look back, it's everywhere where I've touched a soldier, where I can see them advance. And I look back at one soldier, probably the best compliment that I ever received was a soldier that told me after my company command, and that was a junior captain. But he said that he would serve with me again. He said, ma'am, I would serve with you again anytime. I think that's really the best compliment that a leader can
Nice.
have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so and I do take a lot of pride in the soldiers that I look back on and their accomplishments. I really get a lot of joy out of that.
Nice.
And can you talk to us a little bit about your advancement? You said you didn't start at the bottom. Where did you start? How hard? So Mark and I are civilians. How hard is it to progress in the Army? And then kind of when do you know when you top out? So you achieve the rank of colonel.
Mhm.
When did you kind of know, hey, that's it?
The Army has it has a board process. So when I said I didn't want to start at the bottom, I meant it at the State Department. I thought that going into the Army would give me some skills to build on. And then when I tried to go into the State Department, I wouldn't have to start at the very bottom. I could take the Foreign Service test and probably do better. I never did that. But I went through the ranks. It's always by a promotion board system. And it's generally, it's about as fair a process as you can come up with. Every year, there are a certain number of requirements that the Army has to fill with certain grades. And every year, there are a certain number of officers that can compete for those. Your records go automatically to a panel. And I've actually sat several boards, so I've seen the process, which is why I think it is about as fair as it can go. And you're judged on your record of performance. You have an evaluation every year. You're compared with your peers by a ranking system on your evaluations, and that makes up your whole file. So Colonel is nothing to sneeze at. I was there
Yep.
30 years, but when you move into the general officer ranks, it's a much harder cut. We don't need as many general officers, and the boards operate a little differently. So Colonel was as high as I was going to go, but I had a lot of opportunities all through the 30 years that I was in the Army. I had a lot of command opportunities, and I had the opportunity to see different ways that we employ the military in different formations. So I had a lot of firsts.
Nice. So when you were going through and you're young, what kind of challenges did you have as you were going through the system? Did you have any?
Yes, it was 1986. Um, the world was a little bit of a different place then. Um, for me personally, I was a very shy person. I don't know that anybody in junior high or high school would have expected me to go into the Army. So it was something that in college and through ROTC, it was really a good thing for me to bring me out of my shell. Um, the challenges were always just how you are a leader. And I never wanted to put the lens of a female leader in the mix. But that was delivered to me. That was delivered to me and some of the folks that I encountered. But again, with the teams that I had, um, I don't think it ever became an obstacle. I know that I changed a few minds, especially with my company command. I had a group of soldiers who had never had a female leader because the skill set they had, it just wasn't normal for them to see. So I do take pride in the fact that I changed a lot of minds there. Um, and I think I just learned that just by trying to don't draw attention to yourself that isn't necessary, just go out and do what you're expected to do, train what you're expected to train, and just lead your soldiers. So,
Nice. That's awesome.
and it was fun.
If you're able to go back in time and give young officer Kathy Gavel some advice, so after a 30-year career, what advice would you give to your younger version?
Boldly go. Boldly go, and probably ask a few more questions, and find a mentor. Um, I think when I look back, there are things I didn't know what I didn't know about how the system worked and where the opportunities were that I could have seized on. And because of that, I don't want to say I had missteps in my career, but I closed doors on opportunities that I didn't recognize because I didn't recognize where they would take me. I have used those as we say, the school of hard knocks. So I've just used that to make sure my junior officers understand that lens. And I think the generations that followed us, they are much better about networking for sure, but also about recognizing early on the value of having a mentor and someone to show you the rules of the enterprise that you're in. Because I think every organization, every business has a culture and has an enterprise that they have to navigate. And there are rules of those that aren't always obvious. And some of those I just didn't know at the time.
So we both went to Stevenson. All three of us went to Stevenson, spent 4 years there. You and I graduated at the same time. Did you ever lean on any of your experiences at Stevenson? Did that sort of in the end matter? And if so, what did you draw from our collective experience at Stevenson to the Army?
Probably the most impactful thing for me at Stevenson was volleyball. Again, remember I said I was a very shy, very introverted person. What I learned from Coach Hoffman and the volleyball team, I learned the value of persistence, which ultimately led to resilience. I was not a very talented volleyball player, and I did not know how close I came to getting cut from the team. But what Coach Hoffman saw in me was the persistence, and the way his coaching style was a coaching style that was very, very relevant to how you lead and motivate soldiers. So I really have carried that for 39 years now, because there have been many opportunities. I mean, life is life and everybody's got challenges, but that idea of persistence and then the building on resilience has been extremely helpful.
Very cool.
Nice.
Do you have any more questions, Mark?
No, you covered it. And again, thank you for your service. Something that I don't think I would have ever done. So thank you for doing it. And it's just an honor to be talking to you today.
Thank you.
You know, though, and Mark and I, we looked at the LinkedIn. There are lots of sources to look at your resume. We poured through it, prepare some questions, but we noticed one glaring thing in your resume, one glaring omission that we're going to attempt to fill for you today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is when you walk into the offices that you walk in today, as a civilian worker for the U.S. Army, we noticed you don't have a walk-up song. There was no walk-up song that you have. And so this is a classic rock battle. So we are going to pitch a walk-up song that's a classic rock. We're going to explain why we think it fits. I'm going to play 60, 90 seconds of the song, and then you're going to choose between the two walk-up songs which one best fits you.
Okay.
All right. So, Mark, you want to set the scenario in the walk-up song?
Yeah, sure. So just imagine you're going to the office wherever you work, and smoke is behind you, and you walk in through the doors. And this song, I'm going to go ahead and explain it first. But this song, you ever heard of the song Only the Strong Survive by REO?
Yes.
Okay, great. So it kind of captures the spirit of your career. It's about resilience. It's about strength and commitment. And I think this is a great song. It's got energy in it. It's not like a ballad, but it's something that to me is symbolizes your career. So Mike, why don't you go on and play it? And just imagine yourself wherever you work, and this song comes in and you go through the door.
Everything you've ever needed. Heaven with a touch of New York, silver with a touch of gold. And I can see where you're going, but I don't really know the way. It's got to
All
Perfect
right.
song for you, right, Kathy?
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just keep it here and then I'll flip to mine. So I have a similar scenario. Walking in the office, there's a billow of smoke. The double doors open up, but we can't see you. You're an intelligence, so you're stealth. We kind of know you're there. We're not going to actually see you walk in, but you're going to go through on the other side of the doors. And while you do that, the song I chose is Queen One Vision. Have you heard of that song, One Vision?
No, I haven't actually.
But you've heard of Queen, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So, so One Vision is about the collective coming together as a group and sharing one vision. And the song is about really humanity coming together, creating one vision for peace, kindness, and harmony. And it's really about the collective power of a shared vision. And so I thought, obviously, that applies to the Army, that you have to have a shared vision to accomplish the mission. So here is One Vision.
One man, one goal, one mission, one heart, one soul, just one solution, one flash of lightning. Yeah, one God, one vision, one flesh, one bone, one true religion, one voice, one hope, one real decision. Whoa, 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 give me one vision. Yeah. No wrong, no right. I'm gonna tell you there's no black and no white.
You know, Mike, I've never, before you told me about the song, I've never heard of it either, but it's a really great song. Have you heard of it?
I love Queen. Personally, I think Freddie Mercury has the all-time best voice in rock and roll. I love the harmonies. I love the energy of Queen. I neglected to mention that song was released in '85. It just fell outside the top 40. It peaked at 44. But and I love the message of one vision of coming together to achieve peace, harmony, and do it through kindness.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so it is time to decide what is your walk-up song.
The Queen song. I think both of them are absolutely relevant, but the Queen one really did resonate based on everything you said, but also because I have been a part of so much transformation in our Army formations, and a large part of my role in that has been to bring that vision together among a very diverse group of people to try and get them to go all in the same direction. And I really like the part about a vision with unity and kindness. So thank you.
All right. And no. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So now on to the rock battle. So as we discussed, each of us have chosen 2 rock songs each from the classic rock era. Mark's going to kick us off. He's going to introduce the song. He's going to talk about why the song connects to him, maybe a few factoids about the song. I'll play 60, 90 seconds of it. You'll do the same. I'll do the same. We vote. You can vote for your song if you think it's the best, but we're going to vote for who has the best song in the round. You get a point for winning the round. We do 2 rounds. Most points wins the battle and is proclaimed royalty of rock and roll.
Fair enough.
Sounds good. So what Mike and I usually do, we usually ask our guests to pick 2 songs, and we try to get it similar in the same era, same type of music. If someone's has heavy metal music, and we try to go to that. Someone like a pop type like you chose. So that's kind of the route we went on this time around. But so my first one was from Bob Seger, Against the Wind. I'm sure you've heard of it. It went number 5. And this, I remember getting the album. Do you remember, Mike? I remember it clearly, getting the album. And you always mention on these podcasts, or whatever you want to call these things, our battles. There you go. about the albums that you've seen from me. Do you remember seeing this album?
I do not.
Yeah.
But so Mark's 2.5 years older than me. He heavily influenced my taste in rock. And when he was off playing with his friends, he used to sneak in on his side of the room and play his records.
Nice.
And so Aerosmith, Kiss, Boston, even some like Casey and the Sunshine Band, all my likes come from Mark. But that's when I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember it coming out. I think this was the album after Night Moves, and I believe I could be wrong on that, but was Bob's really good. I was more into heavy metal, hard rock, but Bob Seger for some reason resonated with me. This song Against the Wind actually went number 5. And I kind of resonate with the song also. It's about growing older, and we're all growing older, and staying true to yourself, and not pushing forward and making, despite what might happen down the line or in the future or anything like that. It's just an awesome song. And I just enjoy it every time it comes on the radio. And sometimes I listen to a lot of classic radio, and it comes on all the time. So here in Atlanta, so just enjoy the song immensely. So.
Seems like yesterday, but it was long ago. Jane, it was lovely, she was the queen of my night. There in the darkness with the radio playing low, and the secrets that we shared, mountains that we moved, caught like a wildfire out of control, till there was nothing left to burn and nothing left to prove. And I remember what she said to me, how she swore that it never would end. I remember how she held me oh so tight. Wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. Against the wind, we were running against the wind. We were young and strong, we were running against the wind.
That's a great song.
It's a wonderful song.
It is very appropriate for our generation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, you want to? I'm just going to stay on the YouTube screen here and just flip through, so I'm not toggling back and forth. So, Kathy, why don't you introduce yours?
Okay, I picked "Dancing in the Dark" by Bruce Springsteen, and it resonates with me just because of the memories that I have of that time in my life. I didn't come out of high school as a Bruce Springsteen fan, but I sure did come out of college as a Bruce Springsteen fan, and pretty much knew all of the songs. That one was a particular favorite because it was a little bit about trying to find yourself and about the energy. But it was also for my 58th birthday, my daughter took me to a Bruce Springsteen concert in Philadelphia for his 40th. It was a 40th anniversary kind of thing for his concert. Nice. So that was a lot of fun for both of us. And that song, we had to wait until the encore for that song to go on the stage.
Nice.
It was also where Courtney Cox got her big start.
Yes.
Oh, really? That's actually the
that was her first mainstream exposure. Was the video when Bruce pulled her up on stage.
Oh, okay. Was she there at the concert, or you're just mentioning that?
No, she had.
No, I believe she auditioned.
I think she did, because I think they were trying to figure out how MTV was going to work for a lot of them. I had watched something on this particular video, and I think Springsteen just wanted it to be more about his concert. But yeah, it was definitely her big start as he pulled her up.
I get up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. I come home in the morning, I go to bed feeling the same way. I ain't nothing but tired. Man, I'm just tired use just a little help. You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. Messages keep getting clearer. Radio's on and I'm moving around the place. I check my look in the mirror. Wanna change my clothes, my hair, my face.
That's a great song.
It is a great song. Sure
Makes me want to
is.
get up and go run.
So I chose. So Mark's song "Against the Wind" is very wistful. Talks a little bit about regret and headwinds in life, and your song "Dancing in the Dark" is really about soul searching and trying to find your way. I didn't choose anything quite so serious. Mine's Center Field. It celebrates the national pastime. It's a song about baseball and the joy that baseball brings to one life and how it's the backdrop to American life. This song peaked at number 44 in 1985, and this is John Fogerty, formerly of CCR.
Well, beat the drum and hold the phone. The sun came out today. We're born again. There's new grass on the field. Around the third and headed for home. It's a brown-eyed, handsome man. Anyone can understand the way I feel. Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I can be center field.
I love that song. I neglected to mention, we've had a guest on, Greg Pryor, who I actually have been able to befriend. He's a former player for the White Sox. He played for the White Sox while we were in high school. Moved out to Kansas City, where I'm at now. He's part of the 1985 World Series championship team. And through the years, I've had him as a guest motivational speaker in my place of work. I've worked 3 different companies. I've had him each of the 3 companies. He was a shortstop. I can't find a baseball song about shortstop, but I had this as his walk-up song because it's a baseball song.
That makes good sense.
Yes.
All right, so now it's time for voting. Mark will kick us off with which of those 3 is his favorite and why, and what his vote is.
So all 3 of these songs are great, and they all have specific meanings. And Center Field is just Mike and I, we love baseball. But out of the 3, I'm going to have to go with Bob Seger, Against When. Sometimes I hate voting for my own song, but that one, it just resonates with me. I just love the meaning behind it and the tune and, the soulful voice of Bob Seger. So I'm going to go with Against the Wind.
Yeah. Kathy?
Okay, I still like my song very, very much, but among these 3, especially because of the kind of day it is today, I like Center Field. I like what it says about all the things that I think are in the other 2 songs are implied in Center Field, but it really ends with "I'm ready, I'm going, let's go," and I like the motivation aspect of that.
Very nice. So when I saw that both of you chose songs that are kind of melancholy, I'm like, my God, I'm not sure what demons are chasing Mark and Kathy, but I'm going to do my best to lift them out of their funk with a song about pep. So Center Field, and I'm torn. As Mark said, all 3 are great songs. I kind of lean waffling between your song "Dancing in the Dark" and Center Field. And so to make it interesting, I'm going to say "Dancing in the Dark."
Okay. So we're all tied.
It's a 3-way tie, and so the tiebreaker is you've got to you can't vote for your song in the second round. And so
Sounds good.
Kathy,
Oh,
you could, Mark will go first. You can change your vote if you want, but Mark, not voting for your song.
All right, so if I'm not voting for my song, I am definitely going with Centerfield. I love that song. It's upbeat. Um, love baseball. Um, love the Ty Cobb and Joe DiMaggio references. So I'm going with Centerfield on that
and I'll stay
Kathy?
with center field.
And I'll stay with Dancing in the Dark, but the majority wins, so I am up 1-0.
one. All right, sounds good. So my second song is a song by the group called Yes. It's Owner of the Lonely Heart. Back in 1983, actually reached #1 on the Billboard. I love this song also. Um, it's about kind of a, to me anyways, it's about a song that if you're in a bad relationship, it's better to be alone than in a bad relationship. And then it also encouraged people to trust themselves and make strong choices, even if they even if it's being on your own. Just make your choices for yourself. So love this song. Always did, and don't hear it as much as on the classic radio station that I listen to, but I really enjoy it.
Move yourself. You always live your life, never thinking of the future. Prove yourself. You are the move you make. Take your chances, win or loser. See yourself. You are the steps you take. You, and that's the only way. Shake yourself. Your every move you make. So the story goes. Owner of a lonely heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Much better than the owner of a broken heart. Owner of a lonely heart. Say you don't want to chance it. You've been hurt so before.
I know this song vividly and the album vividly. Hanukkah, Christmas, 1983. Home for winter break. Buying everyone gifts. I bought this album for Ev, and I forgot what I bought you. But the only reason I remember this is getting out of the car. I had a stack of gifts that we're going to put in the corner in the family room, like we normally did, before lighting the candles, and then dispersing the gifts. So I put the stack of gifts on top of my car while I'm pulling out more gifts. What I didn't know is, so Ev's was the first one. I had the flat album on the top of my car. When I pulled the gifts off the top of my car, I did not pull that album. I missed it. And so when it came time to open the gifts, I'm like, where the heck is Ev's gift? I had no idea. I'm like, I know I bought it. I went in the car. I couldn't find it in the car. A week later, I found it, Mark. And Kathy, I'm not sure if you grew up in Buffalo Grove, but coming down Shitty Grove, making a right to Checker, a
Yeah.
week later, I found it in the snow. It was on the top of my car. So the next time I drove and I made a right turn, it flung off the car. I found it a week later. It was a little battered, but ultimately I was able to give Ever a gift, which was the S album.
Oh wow,
And that's the
that's a
only
cool
reason I
story.
remember that I bought this album for Ev is because I lost it and found it in the snow.
Oh, that's neat.
That's a pretty lucky find. That
Yes.
no
It is. All right. So Owner of a Lonely Heart is up against
Phil Collins. I've always been a Phil Collins fan. I've liked this song mostly for the drums. It's obviously iconic. I know Phil Collins wrote this song when he was in the middle of a bad relationship and not very happy. It's very mysterious, somewhat accusatory, but the story doesn't really end. And I've always kind of liked it. I really like the music and particularly the drums, though.
I know the drum solo you're talking about. I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's like 3.5 minutes. Should we try to find it or just play from the beginning?
It's okay to play from the beginning.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. All I want face before my friend. But I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did.
The lyrics aren't very nice, some of them.
You know, where if I saw you drowning, I wouldn't lend a hand. A
Yeah.
famous story between Mark and me at Boy Scout camp. We were on this homemade zip line. And when it was my turn, the scout, instead of pushing me, kicked the chair to get me going and kicked the chair out from underneath me. And I had to grab the line or I would have fallen. And the record reflects Mark did not lend a hand. He was laughing. Someone else had to pull me into safety.
Oh.
So literally, I lived in the air tonight. I was literally in the air.
In the air tonight,
hanging
yes.
out.
Okay, that's definitely much more meaningful connection than any I've
That's
had.
right.
Well, maybe my skydiving accident, but I wasn't thinking of that song when I crashed. So
Oh, well, tell us about that. You literally can't leave us hanging. So for skydiving, you got in an accident, did you?
I did. I had already graduated from airborne school as a cadet, so I had jumped out of perfectly good airplanes and landed safely. This was I was in Korea and I was in the sport parachute club. So I was jumping out of helicopters and I was on my way to be doing a free fall. Um, this was a time when I probably did not make a very good decision. I was upset about a particular decision and I had only slept for 2 hours. And when we jumped the next day, um, I was a lot smaller then. The parachute was very steerable, but I got caught in some wind and I ended up getting off the drop zone. So my concern was don't land in the trees and don't land in the high wires. And I ended up running with the wind and crashed. And the net cost was a fractured pelvis in 3 places, a dislocated shoulder, and a
Wow.
fractured femur. So fortunately, this is where the resilience goes. I wasn't smart enough to know how life-threatening that was. So the medic that picked me up off the drop zone, basically got me to Yongsan, and then I was medevac to Hawaii. So I spent
Wow.
3 months in the hospital, and but I still had a 23-year career after that.
Nice.
Wow, very harrowing.
Yes.
Very
I
lucky.
almost don't want to introduce my song. Let's just give it to Kathy after that story.
I never connected
I'll
in the
say
air
now.
tonight with that, but now I will because of the zip lining. So
That's right.
So this is up against Night Ranger's Sister Christian. Came out in 1982, peaked at number 5. It's a coming of age song, and the drummer wrote the song about his sister, and when she was turning from a young girl into a young lady, and he knew about the challenges and the experiences she was going to face. He wanted to get some advice, but he knew he couldn't interfere. He's going to let her make mistakes. But this is his little sister coming of age.
Sister Christian, oh, the time has come, and you know that you're the only one to say, okay, where you going, what you looking for, you know those boys don't wanna play no more with you, it's true.
Everyone knows that song, right?
Absolutely. Mike, didn't you just see them?
18,
Didn't you
19,
just see
20
them
something.
maybe a couple months ago?
I did. And this was their encore. So there are
Nice.
2 encore songs. Night Ranger is Don't Tell Me You Love Me and Sister Christian.
Nice.
nice.
And it's kind of a bucket list. Hearing a song of this magnitude in concert was definitely kind of a check the list kind of thing.
Nice.
All right, so with that, let the voting begin.
All right. So like the first songs that we choose, all three songs are great. They all have different meanings. They all have different tunes and different energies about it. But I'm gonna have to go with Phil Collins in there tonight, especially, you know, your little story there that you had, Kathy. But I really, out of all the three songs, I enjoy that one. And I love that drum solo just like you do. So I'm gonna go with that one.
Kathy?
Okay. I'm going to go with Phil Collins too, because now I can connect it to a couple more stories. And I've always loved the drum solo. I always wanted to play the drums, and pretty sure I didn't have the talent to do that.
It's going to be a clean sweep in the air tonight. Best song, and you had the best accompanying story with it. So it is a clean sweep. And so while you and I technically tied 1-1, you did sweep. I had a split vote, and in deference to your service and helping to protect the country, Mark and I are proud and pleased to declare you as the
Queen of rock and
rock and
roll.
roll.
Kathy, you are the queen of rock and roll.
Thank you very much.
Good job. So nice. So, Kathy, we just want to thank you for participating with us and joining us and telling a little about your story. It's very, uh, very uplifting to hear your story, and you've done this for 30 some odd years, and something I don't think I would have the courage of. So thank you for service, and thank you for your time too today. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you all. It's been fun. I've had to do some research. I've had to figure out how to make Zoom work properly and have
There
a
you
clear
go.
background. But I appreciate the time you all made to coordinate it.
Great.
Well,
Well,
and
thank
thank
you
you. And
again.
I echo everything my brother said. You told inspiring stories, and we can't thank you again for the role you played in protecting our country. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, you want to sign us off, brother?
Yeah. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. I should have said this at the beginning. Um, like, share, comment, and as always, rock on and rock hard. We all got to do this. Rock on and rock hard. There you
Come
go.
on, there you
All
go.
right. There you go. All right. Thanks, guys.